Yo, welcome to the 16th episode of the Final Bell on Halftime Network. Listen, man, I got a special guest here, my man, entrepreneur, businessman. Let me tell you something. He does so many wonderful things in the community through his basketball league, the AEBL. I want to introduce y'all to, hey man, most of y'all probably already know him. My man, Jah Rawlings.
Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me, man.
For sure, man, for sure. So, Jah, man, just tell the audience, man, just tell them, first of all, give them a brief bio. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, Jah Rawlings, originally from New York, came to Atlanta to play college basketball at Georgia Perimeter. By way of South Carolina, I finished at a prep high school in South Carolina. Always had this big vision and dream of, playing basketball at a pro level. Every little kid's dream is the NBA. So since I had a ball in my hand about 3 or 4 years old, man, that was my vision. I didn't think about nothing else. I didn't do nothing else. Moving to Atlanta, coming to college here, it really opened up my eyes to a whole nother world, because growing up in New York, though New York is so big and, so much going on, when you're from the hood in the projects, man, it's very limited. You don't see a lot of successful black people. And if they are, they've already moved out, before you are old enough to realize what's going on. A father of 3, a family man, really dedicated, have paved my life through the game of basketball. I always tell people basketball saved my life. So I try to use the game in a positive way to uplift the community and those around me, man. So,
man, let me tell you, that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's one of the things that I admire about you, because I'm watching how you moving. Like, some people talk it, but they not walking it. And you walking that, man. So I love it.
And I think that comes from, like I said, man, New York pedigree, seeing a lot of my older cousins and guys from the neighborhood not make it just because the environment and the people in it weren't able to help them the way that they needed to.
Right.
So for me, man, I don't care if your dream is the NBA, to go to college, get a job, just get out of the street. I'm going to help you and navigate you. And I always say, humbly, man, like over the last, I've built AEBL 11 years, but I've been here 23. This is my city, you know what I'm saying? And I rep it as such. People are like, but you from New York, but I'm like, Atlanta's my city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you deserved it to name Atlanta your city.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Because everything that you've done, man, I'm telling you, man, you uplifted a lot of people and you helped a lot of people.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I've been watching you from afar. So tell me, how did you come up with the AEBL? What made you say, okay, let me put this together, but not only when I put this together, I can parlay this into the community. How did you come up with that whole process?
Yeah, I think for me, man, being a hooper, like I said, growing up in New York, seeing the Rucker, Dykeman, Kingdom, all these big leagues, and one. I mean, you name it. Whatever was hot while I was growing up at a young age, I always envisioned, I'm like, man, either I want to be playing in it, or like I used to always admire like how they did stuff like that.
Sure.
So when I saw like Nike events and things like that, I've always been that kid at a young age that was like who's putting this on, or like how do they put this together?
Right.
So while I was playing, and I was just talking about this on another podcast, my first year ever playing at ABCD camp, I literally was like observing everything that was going on, because when you play big time AAU, it's like being in the NBA for kids. Right. So everybody's you getting taken care of the whole way through. And while we were doing that, I was like, okay, this person giving us uniforms and sneakers. Oh, they got the food people over here, and I'm like, I just was always mesmerized on events, man. And then coming to Atlanta, I got my feet wet in the AAU space with the Georgia Stars. Then I got a job at the Atlanta Hawks. I got a job at the Atlanta Hawks. Was working at the Hawks for about 4.5 years, doing their basketball development, and that helped me see that there was a piece missing.
Sure.
And though we've had a summer league with the Nike Pro City, that was still like private. It was like if you knew, you knew. But I could talk to people all day and be like, I play at Nike Pro City, and like, what's that?
Nobody even know.
So when I saw that there was a lane open in the community, I knew what I saw in New York growing up.
Sure.
I'm like, if Atlanta has
Sure.
that,
Sure.
yo, we out of here. You know,
You did it, too.
And I knew that. You know, like I said, for me, I had been telling people for a while, to be honest with you, and I think me and you might have talked about it prior to, like, you know, building from the AAU space. I was like, yo, coaching, high school, college coaching, just not for me. The player development thing, I liked it at first, but then I'm like, yo, you really have to be dedicated. Like, you can't just be doing it for money.
Yes.
You know, so I was like, yo, my heart was really in the marketing and the business of it.
Sure.
So I'm like, you know what? I can still help kids. I can still lead people. But if I go create this entity that I think can really be something big,
Yes.
it'll go.
That's
you know,
amazing, man.
so
That
it was
is
really
awesome.
a brainchild that I had since a
Sure.
young age.
Yep.
I wrote it down on paper in like 2011, I think, going into my last year at the Hawks. And literally I was like, yo, man, like, I don't want to work for nobody.
I love it.
I know what I can do with this ball.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think we have similar passes, man. I think basketball, before the Pro-Am, it was the Lou Hudson League.
Yeah.
And that's why I got my opportunity. And that's why one of the reasons why your league is so valuable, because you help so many guys get in Europe and because of the attention that leagues bring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm so grateful, man, that you even have that in place, because you're not just helping basketball players, but you're helping people, bro.
Yeah.
And that's so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
And you're using that platform, man. And I'm just like, I'm just a fan.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be
yo, I
honest with you,
appreciate
man.
it.
No,
You've
real
always
talk,
been
man.
a huge support,
Yeah,
man. And you know, even in the early days when we just going, I'm like, man, send some of your guys that you training. So, you know, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So let me ask you. So tell the audience about some of the players that came. Just brief. Some of the players, females and males, that came through the program.
Yeah, man. So on the men's side, man, I mean, the league has just been going crazy over the last 5 to 6 years. I feel like our ambassador, or someone who's been with us from day one that everybody knows, is Lou Will.
Yes.
One of your guys. He saw the vision from the beginning. Obviously he was navigating his career and what he was going to do, but whenever we needed him to show up, he came.
Yes.
Made sure, even before he was playing, he was coaching.
Yes.
He had a team in the league. And then that kind of led to a lot of guys: Mike Scott, Paul Millsap, Shelvin Mack. We had the big debut in the launch was when Kyrie came.
Yeah.
I think that kind of took things to another level, because I think people were taking us serious, but we hadn't got that stardom like the Rucker or Drew League yet. So when Kyrie came, and then you had Iman Shumpert. I mean, at one time on the court, there was at least minimum $400 million on the court playing.
Players. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then, this is our third year for our women's league. That is actually what is really, I feel like, catapulting us, because of the way that we're, creating a platform for the women's game with, Zealous and April Sykes, Ty Young, the support of Renee Montgomery and Tiffany Hayes and Angel McCautry. I mean, you name it.
Yes.
Like, that's why I tell people when they be like, why you call it the entertainment league? Because I'm like, if you really look at culture, because that's who we are. We are the culture and the fabric of Atlanta. We're the place that you bring sports, music, entertainment, and community together.
Yes.
So, for us, man, having these players come out and support us and see the vision to help us get it to the next level, I'm super appreciative.
That's love.
And now I'm ready for my guys, the kids I trained, the Malcolm Brogdons,
Absolutely.
and the Brandon Goodwins,
Absolutely.
and the Colin Sextons. So it's time. It's time for them to get the torch and take this thing to the next level.
I'm gonna tell you, man, a lot of people don't understand the power inside the game of basketball. Like
man.
the things that you can do.
Yeah.
Similar, like even with my program, I
Right.
got like 5 core pillars, and we're doing a lot of different things in the
Yeah.
community. But similar to what you're doing, I just don't think people understand. Like when they see basketball, they just see guys hooping.
Yeah.
But it's that fiber, that life fiber,
Yeah.
and that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You using that platform, which is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And I really believe that all of us need to utilize our platform, whatever that is, to be a service. Because if you got a servant heart and you're really trying to help people, you said something early to me. You said something early. You said that you really got to have that patience and love training. So you knew that you didn't have that passion for that.
Yeah.
So you went into what you had a passion
Yeah.
for, and that's
Yeah.
why it kind of just blew up.
Yeah, and that's my driving force, man. I tell people I mentor, the young players that always ask me for advice. I'm like, the biggest thing is if you're chasing the money Are you chasing the stardom or the success that you think is going to come because you got a name now or you play at this school? I'm like, man, really find your passion. You know what I mean? You find your passion, you turn it into a purpose. The purpose going to become success.
Come on,
and
man.
then the money and everything going to come with it,
Speak,
you know?
man.
So I think, you know, that's my driving force. A lot of people say, you know, well, how did you navigate this thing? I said, because I didn't try to emulate something that I wasn't or do something that I didn't really have a passion. Like I could still be coaching AAU.
Yes.
You know, a lot of these AAU guys that are coming up now, they like, yo, man, you help us. I said, look, man, this is how I'm going to help you. I ain't in that space no more. You need uniforms, you need shoes, you need some book bags for your kids, I got you.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you need to get in the tournament here and there, I can maybe sponsor, you know, to help y'all out. But, man, I don't want no parts of it. My little nieces are coming up, and I'm looking at a way to create a pathway for them, you know, through the game. And then, obviously, my son is coming right behind them. So, for me, man, it's like I want to be able to build a platform, not just from guys playing basketball. You know, we developing the next coaches. One of the good things that I feel like, and like you said, we don't get to really talk about AEBL is all of the success we've had with personnel and staffing. Like I would say our last 2 crops are all executives now at the NBA, Nike, music industry. And I'm like, yo, our tree is so, it's so flourished now off the court.
Right.
You know, so I'm really trying to push that narrative, man. We're actually launching a program called AEBL Career Pathways.
Love it.
That is going to help kids learn how to be referees, game operations, run the clock. You know, they're giving away scholarships for kids who know how to do stats.
Right.
MIT is literally in Atlanta recruiting weekly for kids that want to learn how to do statistics.
I love it.
You know, and we had a young kid, I think he's a rising junior this year, who came, and he's been with us since middle school.
Right.
Literally, I mean, he loves stats. And I'm like, dude, listen, all you got to do is come and do this. I promise you, you're going to be working in the NBA or some professional sport.
Absolutely. And the thing is, too, is we was talking about this early, exposure, right?
Yep.
So we have to expose them to different things. For example, like my basketball camps this summer, we're having 4 basketball camps. And what we're doing, we're going to have somebody come in, they're going to teach them about robotics, drones. We're going to teach them about coding.
Yep.
So we got somebody coming in. So we're bringing people in from different professions that actually use sports to leverage opportunities for their life. And I think that's a beautiful thing that you're doing, man.
Yeah, and like I said, man, I've always admired, you know, to give you your flowers while we here, man. I've loved the way that you've moved and you've developed, you know, a little bit at a time and just building what your brand is. To, you know, now when my son, and he's definitely one of the influencers in the young space, you know, he knows your brand. He knows your teams. When he see them, he's like, oh, I'm going over to watch Bo Bell play. He doesn't even necessarily even know who you are. He's seen you before. You've talked to him, but he knows the Bo Bell brand. So, you know, for me, you know, it's guys like you, Mr. Prather, Dez, you know, guys that when I was here hooping, that I was hearing about or seeing, that I was like, yo, you know, Atlanta do got some guys that are leading the charge in the basketball space. Because, you know, in New York, it's 50,000 people who do basketball, you know, and I was fortunate to be able to come up under the tutelage of like a guy like Gary Charles or like Lurch at Riverside, where I was able to see these guys, you know, make their impact through the game by giving back, giving kids opportunities, whether you made it to the league or not. The goal was to get a scholarship. So your moms and pops don't got to pay for your education. You know, so I appreciate all you do, man. And you keep me motivated, especially with the way you keep transcending different things and as you grow and learn, because we all learn it, you know, and the game is the game and the business of it is changing. You know, so
and I'm gonna say this too, man. Like in our space where we are, right? There's so many people that's doing it for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you know, and I'm saying it, and I'm just keeping it 100. And like you said, when you have a passion and you have a purpose, right, and you convey that, everything else pretty much take care of itself. And so, you know, you talked about growth. Now let's talk about entrepreneurship. Let's talk about that, man. How important it is for us to to continue to talk to our young people about entrepreneurship because we don't own nothing.
Yeah.
You know, for example, you know, the most valuable thing that you can own is some dirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just opening their minds to that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, even myself, I'm still pretty young in age in the space of growing. I've been on this journey for about 17 years. Obviously working jobs here and there to kind of figure things out. But once I became a full-time entrepreneur and started AEBL, I just kept betting on myself.
Yes.
But I also was a student of the game. I mean, I'm a research junkie. Sometimes I'm talking to corporate brands and I'm telling them stuff about themselves that they don't even know.
Right.
So I've always have, my mom said at a young age that I was never gonna work for nobody. My teachers always like, man, you got the gift of gab. Like, so for me, I just needed to like wheel all of that in and figure out how to navigate. But I tell these young kids, take your time. I'm going through this with my oldest daughter right now. She has the creativeness. She has the brains. I'm trying to teach her the consistency and doing the background stuff before it becomes a big deal.
Sure.
Because, social media, unfortunately, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
To us as well as even more to the next generation
Yes.
because they see everything. And, we used to use the word, I used to hear the word all the time, microwavable,
Yes.
right? Like, things shouldn't be microwavable.
Yes.
Them in and it's quick. Like, if these kids is in microwave, they're on like supersonic sound microwavable things because they think they wake up the next day, something's supposed to happen.
Yes.
And like I said, I deal with that with my 10-year-old too because, he's in a different environment than I grew up in.
Right.
So he does, though, understand he's a brand. He talks about things he wants to do. So they get it. It's just about leading them, putting the right resources, making sure that they're getting the right knowledge and education from the right people and not just hearing everything on social media or online because not everything on Google is accurate.
Right.
And I think just stewardship, making sure they're learning multiple things because you never know. You might want to do T-shirts today, but I put you in around a group of individuals who are shooting content,
right?
And you like, man, I really love that. Like, so giving them access to a lot of things is what I try to do, especially with my young kids.
Right.
I tell them every time I say I know their parents tired of me telling them, if it's, we have a group that I've been really pretty much raising since they were about 3 or 4 years old that they're now, I got 2 that's going to middle school and then the other one's in the rising 5th and 4th grade. And I've always told them, I say, hey, everybody's not going to make it pro as much as we want to.
Right.
But one of y'all can be the manager and the agent. The other one can do the finances. Somebody can be the lawyer. Somebody can be the sports therapist. It's going to be injuries,
Yes, but
so
I like it.
Yeah,
I
and I'm
love
trying
it.
to expose them to things like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think though, like we said, exposure, but I think if the game is utilized the right way at a younger age, where you're exposing them to the things that's the most important inside the game. Example, what I mean is, in basketball, there's so many life lessons. Like, you got to be a team player. You got to be disciplined, right? And it's got to be team first, be second. Because no matter where you go in life, you have to be a part of a team. And so just getting them to understand that, and then it takes a certain type of discipline, mental discipline. And so, and also getting them to be conscious of their thoughts. Because if you can control your thoughts, you can control your actions. Therefore, you control your destiny. So it's a whole little process, and and I'm speaking to them all the time, but I'm also bringing other people in here to empower them, to talk to them.
And I agree with that. And like I said, that is a big challenge for me because I grew up in like the hard knock life, and these kids are very they're fragile,
right?
And it's hard. Like, I use this example. I won't use any other kid's example. But my 10-year-old son, he's headstrong, but he's very fragile. When you're like, you could be talking to him about something he did good, and he'll put his head down, or it's like you're telling him something wrong,
right?
But it's because so many people pacifying them, letting them slide, so they don't know to differentiate whether I'm getting in trouble or if I'm being rewarded, And I think that's the struggle for me. As I'm a full-time hands-on dad. I'm with my kids every day. When I leave here, I'm going to probably be getting ready to head back towards Gwinnett to pick my son up.
Right.
So for me, I also think that's why I said I'm learning now as a father that, you know, sometimes that being there all the time doesn't benefit them in some ways because now they're reluctant to rely on you for everything.
But you know what? Now watch this, John. I think the issue sometimes with all of us, because the thing that I had to learn for myself is I can't coach kids the way that I was coached.
Yeah.
And so here's the play, right? What's the problem is a lot of us are getting bored with the basics, and what happens is we put the carriage before the horse. Right now, more so than ever, we got to focus on the basics, right? For example, so we got kids in the program, right?
Yeah.
And once they come in there, the goal is to get them to understand what they think about. Because if you can control the thought, now that's easy said than done. But we're talking about that all the time. Mindset. Because if you control them thoughts, man, I'm telling you, and that was why I had the success that I had. Because number one, I didn't have a plan B. For me, plan B sucks. You know what I mean? Because if you had a plan B, you didn't put everything into the A.
Yeah.
And so I say, okay, if A don't work, shit, I'm gonna get me another A.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not operating in no B's.
Yeah.
You know, so just getting them to have that type of mindset, whatever it is that you want, you're gonna have to go for it. But I said that to say this. My own grandson, man, he's 14 now.
Okay.
I mean, he was a backpack. I'm carrying him around, so you might be able to relate to this.
Okay.
I'm making him go to the gym with me. I'm getting him up. It's 5 o'clock. Come on, man. Begging him. And so then I got to the point now, I'm just trying to salvage the relationship because I've been beating him so hard.
Yeah.
And so I said, bro, if you don't really want this, I can't make you do this.
Right.
So I said, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a job. Publix. We're gonna get your LLC, right? You're gonna sell some socks or something online. But then also the money that you make, I want you to help your mama to pay them some of them bills.
Right.
So now it's gonna teach responsibility and accountability.
Yeah.
So now he calling me, he said, yo, Dad, I wanna go. He wanna go. Now he's memeing.
Yeah.
Now he's starting to get better.
Yeah.
But now the fact that I had to take him through that whole process, because I can't be talking about these certain things, but I'm not doing it for real.
Yeah.
And so if I do that with my own child, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I'm serious about my own flesh and blood. I'm serious about it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is all of us, we have to really stay focused on the basic principles of living, because that is inside the game. And we can use these platforms to deliver those messages, because it's almost like when you come in my gym, okay, I'm gonna give you this basketball, but when I shake your hand, you better look me in my eyes, type stuff. Now, I don't hit them with that. So already off the rip, you set the tone. Like, look, man, this ain't the police. This ain't no, okay, you gotta do it. No, we doing it organically. So, you know, just trying to make a difference, man, with the platform.
And that's huge.
Man. You
That's
know what
huge because they need it, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, the game, as you said, all of these things are built in the game, but a lot of kids are not absorbing it either, you know? So they literally think they're just playing a game, right? Because again, it's just the game, right?
But check this out, John.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand what we understand.
Yeah.
Now they can teach it.
Yeah.
But they can't convey it, right? You can go on the internet and teach somebody to drill, and be able to convey it from experience.
Yeah.
A lot of people who handling our kids, they don't even have the experience, man.
Yeah.
So
they just seen it somewhere and they were like, oh, I like that, and I'll do it. Yeah. Me and another coach was talking about that not too long ago.
Yeah. So that's an issue, man. But speaking of that, man, the state of the game, man. Let's talk about grassroots, let's talk about high school, let's talk about the pros, let's talk about Europe. So what do you think the state of the game, do you think it's in a good place where it is now?
I think the game is definitely in a good place. I think what people are uncomfortable about is the prowess or respect and power that the players have. I think that makes people uncomfortable. Right. But I think the talent level is through the roof. I think I think these next 2 draft rounds, you're going to see as the what I call them the OG superstars, the LeBrons and them, they're starting to move out the way, and then the new stars are coming, and then the Tatums moving in their spot, Devin Booker, and then now you got the Ant-Mans and the Ja Morants moving up in there. Now you're looking back at, if you really look at Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, that crew, to me it reminds me of like the Allen Iverson era, where guys were just super, like they just love playing basketball. You know what I mean? And I mean, I use Ant-Man as an example. That kid loves basketball.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like every kid is young. They got money now. They're doing things, but he's in the gym 90% of the time.
Love it.
And if he's not in the gym, he's using basketball to foster other things. He's acting. You know what I mean? So I think we're getting ready to go through like a resurgence of the game. I do think that we're still missing that connectivity that we should have at this point for the grassroots. Because it is a business now. It's a
business.
It's, you know, before I think I didn't start realizing that it was a business until probably like 9th or 10th grade,
right,
where these kids is 10 and they like, yo, I know this is a business. You know, so I do think the game is in a good space. I think the opportunities are becoming a lot more available on and off the court.
Sure.
You know, a lot of the guys who were former players are getting positions as GMs and as they're becoming agents.
Sure.
So I think that's helping the game, because now you don't got just Joe Blow that has this certification or that's on the coaching staff because he's the owner's best friend's son.
Right.
You know, you got guys that really did it, played it at a high level, and they're able to create those tools and those vessels for this next generation.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing, and I'm gonna go a little bit deeper.
Okay.
All right. So because I'm in that space, the grassroots, I'm in that space of developing every day.
Yeah.
And that's been me for like 25, 30
Right.
years. Even when I coached travel basketball, I coached it so that I could control the narrative of the players that I was coaching.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I did it.
Yeah.
But me watching this thing close up, man, from a grassroots standpoint, we gotta get a hold of this thing from a development standpoint. I'm not talking about training, because you train dogs, cats, chickens, and animals. You develop people.
Right.
So we got to make sure that we instill that confidence inside of those kids.
Right.
Where they learn how the game is still played on the ground.
Yeah.
Because these kids flying around, and then the problem is on the grassroots, they devalue winning, bro.
Yeah.
Like everybody come in, okay, I get mine, you
Top
get yours.
talent.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's only one basketball.
Well, you know why I think that, and that's why I said, I think we talked about this in the past about the actual fundamental development, not just the basketball and not, you know, just like you said, developing people. The reason why I think that's going to struggle for a good while, it's going to be hard to fast track that, is because social media, right, controls. Content is king. So you got kids that are literally not even playing high school basketball that go into the NBA, going overseas, OTE, Australia. So kids are not, like, if you really, like, as many gyms as we have, if we went around the city right now, it's probably 30, 40 empty gyms right now.
That's real.
Right? So, because the kid looking at it like, well, look, you know what? I ain't got to do nothing but play this weekend in this AAU tournament. Have a camera guy follow me around, get me some highlight clips, and boom, I'm gone. So I think my position in it is that I don't disagree with that approach, because that's just where things are now, right? Things are super fast-tracked in that lane. I think that's why I'm saying the resurgence of, like, guys who really played, understand, know, been in these different, you know, experiences or opportunities as they're taking charge. Then we can start shifting the narrative. Because think about this. If you take a 15, 16-year-old kid right now from Atlanta, Georgia, plays at a somewhat mediocre high school. High school probably doesn't really put a lot into their basketball program. So he like, all right, cool. I'm going to just go to school. I ain't even going to play on the team. And then he goes and he plays at Skill Factory or Bobel, or, right? And y'all taking him around the world and playing these different tournaments. That's really all he got. He don't know the foundation that another kid that may be coming from Wheeler or North. You see what I'm saying? There's a huge gap in these different places, and I think the biggest part is, as we're educating them, we have to educate them beyond just it being the guy.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's what everybody's selling these kids is being the guy.
That's huge.
What about the kid? Or, I mean, just look at the different series that we watched in the playoffs. There's guys that are literally on these teams to play defense, to rebound, to be the team player. You know what I mean? So, but the narrative of this culture of basketball is elite, ranked. What schools recruit you? You see, so these kids don't, and it's unfair to them. And, you know, and honestly to their families, because their families don't know either.
They don't know.
But they are seeing it happen, and they're seeing the success stories, man. And they just like, yo, we following suit.
But check this out. So my thing, just watching. When you're trying to do something different, right? So you start at the bottom,
Yep.
start at the top, and bring it together. So when I watch progression and development, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the foundation, kind of like a house, you know what I mean? The house on the foundation, and then I look at the top. So when I look at grassroots, I look at the pros, right? So I'm looking at that whole situation.
Yeah.
And then when you look at these Europeans that's coming over here and flexing the NBA, they here.
Yeah.
So if you look in the championship, the two best players in the whole playoff has been Murray and Jokic.
Yeah.
The two best players, and they're from other countries.
Yeah.
The last 4 or 5 years, the top MVPs was from other countries.
Right.
The top 5 players in the NBA from other countries.
Right.
And so my point is, we're more talented.
Yeah.
We're more skilled.
Right.
But it's technical and tactical. I think tactically they better because they know how to play the game the right way because they haven't caught up. They're not caught up in the social media.
Yeah.
They don't do AAU.
Yeah.
They focusing on development. And they never got bored with the basics because us, like you said, and
Right.
it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But if we don't understand that and take control, us, and I say, and
Right.
I'm trying to do it,
Yeah.
not just talk about it,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm doing in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
academy. And it's a slow ride
Yeah.
because everybody pulling at them and holding
yeah.
out. But I'm going to stick to my beliefs.
Would you say, and I think for me, this is kind of where I kind of struggle with that piece, so to speak, I think me understanding, I won't say I think I know in this capacity, a lot of that foreign European is marketing and strategy by the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
That's
No question.
bipartisan in what they do.
No question.
But two, I feel like they've always had it. The reason why they're getting their resurgence is because they're already at an advantage because at 14, 15 years
Playing
old,
with
those kids are
pros.
playing pro.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, so that fundamental piece really ain't sitting in on them neither. They're literally in the trenches. Like, you're learning. Like, I watched Tony Parker's story, and I can tell you everything about Tony Parker. The reason why he was able to do what if he would have been in America, he would be Rondo.
Right.
I'm just being real. He would Rondo's a great player.
Sure.
Won championships or whatever, but Rondo's not Chris Paul.
Right.
Rondo, you know what I'm saying? But Tony Parker would have been a regular average point guard in the NBA. Maybe not even stuck that long had he not went to San Antonio. But, he was a pro at 14, 15 years
Yeah,
old.
that helps.
He's learned that mentorship, that mental capacity that we
Yes.
talk about.
Yes.
So that's why I say, and I understand the NBA is getting ready to go back to the young age to go to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I think OTE initially had a good idea and fumbled it, in my opinion, because maybe 5 kids in the whole program can be elite at high school. So when you think about our kids, so you say Isaiah Collier, Anthony Edwards, Jabari kind of maybe so, but let's just say Isaiah and the Ant-Man.
Right.
They could have played pro out of high school. Bro.
Right.
They're lottery picks out of high school. So if you're telling me that I got to wait till I'm 18, but this kid over here can be playing at 14,
Right.
he's going, by the time we both get to the NBA,
No question.
even if I go to college and I go to Duke or whatever the case may be, that's not real. That's like telling somebody, like I was saying, you take the kid from New York, Atlanta, put him in New York at 16 and just leave him.
Right.
Take a kid from New York that's 12, put them in Atlanta and leave them. I guarantee you, the kid that you put in Atlanta from New York gonna find his way back. The kid from Atlanta that's 16 is gonna be like, what, who? I don't know what to do. Mom, come get me.
Yeah.
So it's all based, that's why I say I don't wanna be too hard on, I think people are trying what they're seeing and they're trying to do it at a way that, like you said,
Yeah.
that the head is telling the body how to move. The NBA is telling guys or putting it out there like, hey, this is what you need to be doing.
Right.
Do you see how this guy's training?
Right.
So if you're a young trainer and you are not connected to a Bo Bell who's got a wide range of experience, but you just like, man, I'm going to get me an NBA polo. Think about it. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to get me an NBA polo from going to this clinic where the coach is telling me about X's and O's and what they did versus really teaching me the elements of the game and what I should be working on with these little kids. That was one of the reasons why I kind of didn't continue with the Hawks.
Right.
Charlie Chris was my boss at the time.
Right.
Me and Charlie, we coming up with things that we know are going to work to help kids really fall in love with the game, learn the game, right, and want to stay in it, they want to sell tickets.
Right.
So now you got to battle.
That's what I'm saying. And see, and that's where, because at the end of the day, it's about economics.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
So, but if we want, now I'm just being straight with what I see, with the way things are going right now, if we don't be careful, man, you're going to look on the bench, man, you're going to have 12 European players. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, like you said, they're playing pro as they're 14 years old.
Yeah.
But when they playing professional basketball, because let me tell you what I learned. I played 13 years, right?
Right.
The first 9 years, 8-9 years, I'm over there trying to dunk on everybody. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? And so I started, there's a guy on my team named Philippe Zanier, a French player, national team. He was getting 30 and taking 2 dribbles a game.
Right.
So I'm like, hold up.
Right.
I'm doing this backwards.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I put at least 6 more years on my career once I started watching and working with him.
Yeah.
And it was all his feet.
Yeah.
And so once I learned about the feet, because it make you be efficient and effective. And then when you learn to play with your feet, the game slows down. And when the game starts slowing down, it was like, I'm
you in control.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I just think the approach of developing players, especially like grassroots, just getting them conscious of their feet first.
Right.
But also it starts here. Because if that's not connecting with this, the goal is to put your brain in your feet.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just a different approach so that our kids can have an idea of how the game's supposed to be played. Because, in the example, some of these kids who are the top-notch kids, you think you're going to go to state, they're going to give you the ball and they're going to give you the ball. You got to learn how to play without the ball.
Yeah.
And so that's the issue. And most of those guys that come over here, they already know how to play without the ball.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying about the technical and the tactical skills.
No, and I agree with you.
Saying?
Like I said, I agree with the reformatting of the development and where it needs to go back to the fundamentals. Euro stepping and all that stuff like that, you'll learn that gradually as you go. It'll become a part of your game when you're ready for that, right? Because you're teaching kids how to Euro step, and that's what they're thinking because they see it in the game. They're like, that's all like, man, it'd be funny watching these AAU tournaments because all the kids are swiping through, and and I'm like, dude, you don't even know how to dribble the ball up the quarter of the way, but you know how to swipe through. And I get it, that's a part of the game too, and it's good that they know how to do that, but
watch this, not to cut you off. I want to stop you right there because watch this. Here's the issue. You remember what we said about training and development?
Yeah.
So you're training dogs, cats, chickens, and animals. Because see, if I train you to do a move, you got to think about when you're going to do the move.
Right.
So I don't even teach moves.
Right.
I teach options.
Right.
So that the personality can take over.
Right.
So when the person, like I did with Luke.
Yeah.
Luke, you know what he's going to do and you couldn't do nothing. Yeah. If he go left, that's a bucket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he playing with his feet.
Right.
Nobody said nothing about it.
Yeah.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
Same way. You look at their games, it's similar.
Right.
It's because they're beating you with their feet.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is like, with our younger kids, man, especially on that grassroots side and with the younger kids.
Right.
We have to, and I say we, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully other players, and that's why I always sharing a lot of content.
Yeah.
I can be, monetizing it.
Right.
I share it.
Right.
Because I want some, okay, you get this, maybe you can help a kid over here. Help.
Yeah.
Just get the idea, just having a different approach.
Yeah,
man.
and we'll have more benefit to it. So, I mean, like I said, I agree. And I think that, as things are level setting themselves to what I feel like the new generation of basketball is going to be, I think you're going to see that go back to it with guys like you. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other great trainers out there, like even and John Beck, who's a trainer for the Nuggets. Mm-hmm. I've had a couple of my guys who are wanting to be trainers. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, watch those guys.
Right.
Like I seen those guys train when they're not in the NBA with local guys,
right.
And I'm like, I see so much improvement in their game.
Right. Yeah. So let's jump on to that. Let's talk about the NIL, man, and the transfer portal. Man.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to impact the game, and what do you think that's good for the game? You think that's good for players?
Yeah, I love the NIL. We doing deals right now, so to kind of put perspective into that. So I been doing marketing pretty much the bulk of my life. Even while I was playing, I was still marketing, helping, interning, doing different things to that. I started a marketing agency called Finish First about 3 years ago. With the idea of cultivating the relationships and the brand partnerships that I've built and that I've created to bring and flourish that within our Atlanta community, and then most importantly to the next generation of our athletes and entertainers, right? Sure. I think NILs are amazing, but obviously with everything, there's there's control.
Yes.
Right? So as soon as they see it's an opportunity for money, even in the state of Georgia, we're getting ready to create a petition because our high school kids can't even get NIL deals.
Wow.
Whereas, California, New York, all these different big markets that are similar to ours, their kids can get. Juju, she signed her and Bronny signed $1 million Nike deals in high school. You get what I'm saying? Whereas we had the number one player in the country,
Yes.
and he can't even make no money.
That's crazy.
So I think it's a good thing. I think it will create kind of a domino effect in the sense of, one, kids being able, I think on the positive side, kids are going to be able to learn how to manage money early.
Right.
They'll understand their brand value and how important this is
Right.
to take advantage of this moment, right? Because
Right.
a lot of kids take it for granted.
Right.
We know a bunch of people that
Yes.
should be in the NBA,
Yes.
WNBA, play Division I college, but they didn't have those opportunities, right? So I think on that side, I think it's going to be great. I'm a champion for it. I really see these young girls. The women's game is going to get stronger. Dawn Staley is doing an amazing job creating opportunities for young women. And then the con side is that, per usual, when specifically African Americans are starting to find ways to capitalize off of their value.
Sure.
The entities come in and they're like, we got to control it,
I love
and I
that.
think we just have to, I'm hoping, guys like us, people like LeBron, that are at the super high level where their voice through these corporate companies mean, a lot.
Right.
Tell them like, look, you guys can't control this.
Right.
You can be a part of it,
Right.
but you can't control it.
Right.
And that's my voice and statement to Governor Kemp is that be a part of it. Don't try to control it, because when you're controlling it now, you're basically almost like contradicting what you're saying as far as growth and development financially, the economy for these kids.
Love it.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's switch gears a little bit, man. The media, let's talk about some of these current topics. I know it's a few weeks behind.
Yeah.
But the young lady, the Angel Reese situation, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Was it blown out of proportion, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely blown out of proportion. I think her competitiveness, she's fiery. She's from the hood.
Yeah.
She worked her butt off to get to where she's at, and she's competing. And like the young lady, I forget the other girl's name, the Caucasian girl.
Kaden Clark.
Yeah, Clark. Like she said, it's in the love of competitiveness.
Sure.
Like I don't think she did nothing wrong.
Sure.
But of course, it's a black girl that's fiery, that's confident about herself, not worried about what nobody else saying.
Sure.
And they're gonna make it into something that it's not.
Yeah.
But she is becoming the face of women's basketball.
Yeah.
And even in the spectrum of what I say is like, just think about this, and I don't think a lot of people think about this. Why does a female basketball player have to wait till her junior year to go to the WNBA?
That's crazy.
Why? She could play right now.
Yeah.
She's probably better than 50% of the girls in the league.
That's real.
Maybe not as skilled and experience-wise, but you take her, you take a Flage, you take Clark, it's a ton of girls that's in college right now. You put them in the WNBA right now, the WNBA turns a whole nother notch. So it's like that's what I say the control model is. They want to control the revenue and the money based off this, but now you want to put her out there as the bad guy, but she just probably made you the highest viewership.
Yes.
They have more viewership than the men.
I saw that, and I was watching it too.
Because of who? who they wanted to see?
Reese.
You get what I'm saying? So you'll miss me with the the media definitely try to spin that the wrong way to try to bring light that I feel like they were trying to bring light to like, hey, maybe we shouldn't give opportunities to young women that look like this.
Well, I think too is like when people don't know you, because arrogance and confidence is close. Yeah. So people if they don't know you, they say, "Oh, she's just arrogant." Yeah. But she's just confident. Yeah. She's confident about what she do, and that's okay, man. Because we don't know her struggles. Yeah. Her struggles is kind of propelling her to be successful.
And
man.
she said that.
Yeah.
She said that. She said, I'm a girl from Baltimore. Right. And I made a way and an opportunity, and I'm gonna maximize this. I'm gonna take the most of it.
So let me ask you this. So from a financial standpoint, it's a big disparity, man, with the NBA and the girls. Do you ever think that there's gonna be they're gonna make more money, or they're gonna make even more money than they're making now, or get close? Because it's a huge disparity. So the NBA is here and they're here.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, they're doing it in college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Them college girls making more money than the WNBA girls.
Yeah.
Like their deal. I mean, she
And the
made.
NIL, right.
I know Flau'jae made a couple of M's this year.
Right.
Some of them girls will never see $1 million playing in the WNBA.
Right.
I'm talking about their entire career.
Right.
You talking about
That's
they?
real.
You know, I really broke it down, and my math may be off, but yo, some of them girls are playing for about $4,500 per game.
That's what I heard. Yeah. Yeah.
I can pay them that at AEBL. Come on, we about to create the G League right here in Atlanta. AEBL
Already.
women, you heard it first. AEBL women in the next 2 to 3 years
Get to that.
will be the G League
It's
of the
coming.
WNBA.
It's coming.
Man, because
It's coming.
there's no way that all these girls are getting pushed out
Right.
of the WNBA that are so talented. They're leading their teams to
Yes.
national championships, Final Four, Elite Eight. Viewership is through the roof.
Right.
Brand corporate companies are looking at them to partner with them because, you know, I say this all the time, and, you know, this is, like you said, I'm living this, I'm doing this.
Yes.
90% of my staff are
Yes.
women.
Yes.
You get what I mean? So
Yes.
if we value them in the sense to make us valuable, to make money, you got to too, and pay up. And I think guys like LeBron and KD, Chris Paul, when they do get past the playing part, I think they're going to fight for that and make a way for it to be a larger pool, you know, for them to make more money. But I think it's going to happen. I don't think it'll ever be. I mean, it's when you really understand the business of it, it'll never be a chance that the WNBA will get as much money as the NBA because there's so many pillars that the NBA have built within that it'll take forever for WNBA. But I definitely think they should. There's no way they're making more money overseas than they doing right here in their home, on their homeland, and they built their brands and names off this money that they making for these colleges.
Yes.
You know,
That's one of the reasons why a lot of girls is running to Europe, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, your girl who's in trouble, the big girl. She's making $1 million a year over there. Yeah. So. Brittany
Griner.
Brittany Griner.
But I mean, like you know, in the essence of it, man, if you take the top 15 girls out of college right now, plug them in the NBA, WNBA, they're going to make your teams, whether they make them better for championship, as we see with the NBA, it don't work like that.
Got it.
You know, I always pronounce his name wrong, but Wembanyama. Their Spurs not winning the championship the first year.
No.
But they're going to invest.
Yes.
They're going to put the resources around him. I think he's slated to make about $190 million on his shoe deal.
Off the rip.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you talking I mean, come on, man. Like that's not even that's crazy, man.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about like the current. Let's talk about my boy LeBron, man.
Yeah.
Do you, in terms of, you know, we having this conversation because I'm having it with my friends and different people around the world, the GOAT. You know, that's the conversation. Everybody talking about the GOAT, the GOAT, the GOAT. What do you think, man?
So I'm a huge LeBron fan. Probably one of the top 10. I'll argue anybody about LeBron. I think the realization has settled with me a little bit now, though, as I'm seeing him kind of go through the latter part of his career. I personally feel like he's the best all-around player that I've ever seen. I was 4 when Michael Jordan came in the NBA. So, I mean, I saw it, I understood it, but I seen Michael Jordan at his prime. I think Michael Jordan had a better killer instinct, i.e., you know, finishing games, etc. But I just don't think he did everything LeBron did. I don't think the impact, and it's hard, and I say this all the time, it's hard to mirror them next to each other because of the dynamics, but I know ball. I've been around this thing for a long time. Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan because of the system and the things around him. He was going to be great, but he would have been a great individual, right? If you look at the work, LeBron came out of high school. LeBron had to come and put the work in right off the gate, right? They already named him the king, right? So I think from a standpoint, if I had to say right now, I would say they 1A, 1B. And I would go LeBron 1A and Jordan 1B.
Wow.
Wow. If I'm looking for shock value, if I'm looking for the shock value, I'm gonna say Michael Jordan, of course, because all they showed us was highlights. Right. If you really go watch the games, like even the dumb meme that they talking about, he never got swept, but Jordan would have never got swept. He got swept.
Yes.
But you know, unless you know basketball, you're not
forget.
gonna go.
They forgot.
He's never lost in the final, but he also never made it to the finals.
Right.
So I would rather be in the finals and have a
Yes.
chance to win it
Yes.
than be at home. So like you got to balance what your argument is.
Yeah.
If you for LeBron, you for LeBron. If
Yes.
you for Jordan, you for Jordan. You Kobe. If you the in between, which is Kobe, and this is why I say you can make the difference. If Kobe Bryant everybody wanted to be Michael Jordan. So when people say that, I think LeBron was like, everybody wanted to be Michael Jordan. Allen Iverson wanted to be Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? And you look at the reality, Kobe's the middle ground between. He had Jordan's instinct, killer instinct, somewhat ability, right? But you've never seen nobody like LeBron.
Yes.
Nobody can do what he does.
Ever.
It's nothing. It's no.
Ever.
He has the best. And he does not have the killer instinct, but because I believe whoever was developing him, like you said, the mental was team first.
Yes.
Right? Jordan was like, I gotta eat.
Yes.
It's a difference.
Yes.
So LeBron had a point guard's mentality. He just happened to be 6'8".
Yes.
And that's like AD. That's why AD's soft like that, to be honest with you, because he really was a point guard for majority of his life.
Right.
He got one growth
People don't
spurt, and they
remember
like,
that.
oh, you a big man now. He's like, yo, what am I supposed to do with this?
Right.
But to go back to the argument,
That's facts.
I believe Jordan was the pinnacle of what we all saw for basketball, right? Jordan emulated Dr. J, which
Right.
at that time, Dr. J probably was looked at as one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Right.
Jordan came, replicated that. Then Kobe came, replicated that. When LeBron came on the scene, LeBron just hands down.
Yeah.
From day one, the first game in the NBA.
Yeah.
He showed you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my take.
Yeah.
And I'm with you.
Okay.
With Brian, I'm with you on Brian, man. When I make that comparison, right? First of all, to me, comparison is a thief of joy. You can't really enjoy the process.
Yeah.
But when you make that comparison, first of all, you're dealing with two different eras, right? The physicality was a whole nother level back then, as opposed to what it was now. And I think one of the reasons they like you said, it's economics for those players to come from Europe. They making the game a little bit softer where you can't touch, right?
Right.
So if Jordan was playing in this era, he'll average 100. That's the
Probably,
first thing.
yeah.
He'll probably average 100. But LeBron, his overall body of work, right? Like you said, when he first came in, and then the impact that he's having, where he's taking his likeness and putting it and uplifting other people, for me, that give him an extra crown.
Yeah, we didn't even go to that point.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I was just trying to keep it in back, because if you talk about just all-around person, that ain't even close.
Yes.
I mean, Jordan goes back down to probably 100.
Yes.
If you're talking about in that capacity, he's selling sneakers, but that's it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. So,
there's not even, I literally, and I was arguing with somebody about this on another show. If you go to kids right now that are in high school, bro, outside of his shoe, they don't know he owned the Hornets.
That's right.
They don't know nothing about
That's
him because
right.
he's extracted his life into that other culture, and I can't respect that.
Yes.
So if you want to talk about whole Magic Johnson it's LeBron and Magic. That's who it is.
Yes.
You get what I mean? But when you talk, I try to keep it just in basketball sense, because people talking about what they did, what they won, things of that nature. I'm like, okay, you take LeBron, everybody's like Kyrie, right? LeBron, that's why Kyrie's probably about to go back with LeBron, because he understand now what that dude was telling him. He like, look, bro, you great. LeBron's always telling his guy, yo, you're great. Like, I'm the guy, I get it. And I've always said, I think I said this on the record, I promise you, right now, I would bet a lot of money on this. When they had won that championship, if LeBron he didn't have to do it on the court, right? He didn't have to do it when they were sitting in the media room. If he would have been like, yo, this is his, and handed him that damn MVP trophy for that championship, bro, they would still be winning championships right now.
I couldn't agree more.
Kyrie was so young and he didn't understand. You know, you got all these people talking and telling you it's you the guy.
Yeah.
You know, he ain't getting it done because they playing around with all the narratives that's going on.
Right.
If LeBron had, and I don't think that he probably was even thinking about nothing like this. This is just me thinking like how to make team building happen.
Yes.
I would have literally been like, yo, bro, this is really the MVP.
Yes. Give him the trophy.
Because I'm already worth $1 billion.
Yes.
So me saying that he's the MVP, it ain't gonna tarnish my legacy.
Yes.
We about to run it back
Again.
5 or 6 more, and then we can keep going. You know what I'm saying? But when it come to basketball, we've never seen anything like LeBron from top to bottom. However you want to. You could say the killer instinct is the default. Yeah. You could say that he passed at the last. Yeah, he's passing to make the right play, which is what he's supposed to do. Jordan played hero ball in an era where he was guarding the mailman. The mailman was guarding him. The FedEx truck driver was the defender on him. If you really want to keep it a buck, right? And then when he did win at his highest, look at his team, bro.
Yeah.
His team, half of his team is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
His coach is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Tex Winners is in the Hall of Fame, bro.
Yes.
LeBron didn't have that. Kobe had a blemish of that because obviously Phil brought everybody, with him. LeBron never had that. LeBron's always had a first-year coach for the most part. He's always had a makeshift skeleton team. And then when they did break, if you see, like Miami, they say, oh, he went to Miami. He went. That's a smart damn decision. Yeah. I'm going to go with somebody that know how to win because I don't know how to win yet. Everybody born a winner? No. Some people got to learn.
You got to learn how to do it.
So I'm going to learn. I'm going to take my talents. I hate how he did it. Mm-hmm. So if we could go back, and this is, I agree with some haters on LeBron. If you take the decision away and it just happens organically, like, yo, he's going to Miami, whatever. I don't think a lot of people hates on him the way they do. Right? Mm-hmm. But again, he's a dude that controls his own narrative. Right. You get what I'm saying? Yep. He created a narrative for the NBA, right? Mm-hmm. At the time when there was a big three already, he was like, damn, I can't beat them. Yes. I can't do this by myself. Yes. I got to go get some help. Yes. But I'll be damned if you tell me Michael Jordan didn't have no help. Right. When has Michael Jordan ever, minus the offensive foul on Bill Russell. I mean, what's my guy name? The dude that Brian Russell. That was an offensive foul. Yeah. Minus that. When has he hit a game-winning shot to win the series? Yeah. It's Paxson, Hornacek. Yeah. I mean, he had Kukoc, Steve Kerr. I mean, bro, you are loaded. That's why I like Steph Curry. I love Steph. I love that he's a blue-collar guy, but I'll never give him that respect that those other guys had to go through. Bro, your shit is loaded. Yes. You loaded. I love your game, and I love that you developed into this guy that was an unknown. Bro, your pops is Del Curry. He was shooting threes when I was a baby. Right. I expect this from you. You get what I'm saying? Right. But there's some people that you have. Allen Iverson is one of those. Allen Iverson is the greatest player in my opinion. Hands down, pound for pound, that is the greatest player I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? When I think about me playing basketball, he changed the dynamic of the NBA. He showed kids that you can make it from the hood and do it your way. And it didn't work out all of the way that he wanted it to probably. But when I say nobody impacted the game like that. Right. You got. I mean, Steph did from the three standpoint, but I'm talking about they impacted on, off the court, generations. People still wearing cornrows because of Iverson. Right. So those are the two guys that I would say for me, my generation coming up, are the pinnacle of the game. And I love Michael Jordan. I love what he did for basketball. Yeah. So let's keep that thing moving, man. Yeah. So the playoffs, man. Who you like in the playoffs? Man? Now, I think it's Denver's to lose. To be honest with you, they the most complete team. They don't really have no holes. When you think they got holes, they fill them. Yeah. And shout out to Mike Malone because we from the same neighborhood. Right. We actually played for the same AAU team and everything. That's crazy. But yeah, man, I think it's the Nuggets, man. I said if the Lakers beat the Nuggets was gonna win the championship. Wow. But Denver, they took care of business. It ain't no excuse. People like with the Lakers, and I'm not really even a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. Right. Wherever he playing, that's who I'm a root for. But I think that. They ran out of gas, man. Like collectively, yes. I don't think it's anybody's fault. I just think they what is it saying? They kind of underpromised and overdelivered, and then we all got excited that they were there, and it was like it's LeBron, so it's like this has got to happen. But you take that any other team and put them in that situation, i.e. Philly, the Knicks. I mean, you name it, they not gonna get it done.
But you got to also think about the transformation of the roster in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
believe if that team stay together, if
Yeah.
they don't start trying to, because sometimes they over coach
Yeah,
and
yeah,
start trading.
yeah.
They got something there. They
Yeah.
just need to add a piece, maybe
Yeah.
a Kyrie.
Yeah, but see, I think,
some-
in my opinion, I think, and this is just kind of timing and design, I think everything happened the way it was supposed to. It wasn't the outcome that we probably all wanted from a LeBron fan standpoint, but I think it actually gave him something to light another fire under him. You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like if they had been together through the whole season, they wouldn't have made it this far. Because it would have been too much. Like, that's a lot to figure out. And that's one thing people don't understand, man. Running a league and just organizing people and understanding everybody's characteristics and who's good at this and who's not good at that. That's a lot for Donovan Ham to do in 1 year. You get what I'm saying? Like, even going through the playoffs, you can see.
No question.
If I'm a smart man, I'm sitting D-Lo from the jump.
Yeah.
But he like, this is my guy. This who helped us get here. Had he made that adjustment in game one, we might be talking about a whole different series.
real.
I still see Denver coming out on top because they're a complete team.
Right.
Murray's playing out of his mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But if you just see that subtraction he made in the last game, the determining game, how good they played together,
Right.
and bringing him off the bench so you can have points off the bench,
Yeah.
and then you banking on Lonnie Walker to come in and have a superb series like he did last one, that might not happen.
Yes.
You know, now they're going to have to figure this Reeves thing out because my
they
dog
got to.
my dog is a
He can
baller.
play. He can hoop. He can hoop for real.
That's a baller. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let's keep it moving real
Okay.
quick. Let's talk about my boy John Morant, man.
Yeah.
You know, just my take, and then I'm gonna let
Okay,
you touch
yeah.
it. I mean, he's a kid. You know, he's learning. From my understanding, you know, he didn't come up like that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure
Trying
did.
To, you know, he's suburban, went to private school and the whole nine. Actually, Ty is his uncle. You know,
Yeah,
Ty,
yeah.
is his uncle. So he was going to bring him to me at a younger age and work with him. So I didn't get a chance to work with him. But obviously, the kid got the wrong people around him.
Yeah.
Because if you got people around you that really care about you, whoever's with you, they should be the ones to be like, no, bro, no,
Yeah.
that's not how we do
Yeah.
it. They should be protecting him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So give me your take on that real quick.
Yeah, so I'm gonna flip the handle on what you just said.
Yeah.
Because I think if you really look at the dynamic, it's his father. It ain't his friends. Your friends gonna be Du Bois regardless. You get what when you Ja Morant. I mean, ain't, who gonna say something to me? We the same age. I'm the breadwinner. You eating because I'm eating. It's his dad, man, and it's yeah. And I said that. I said, well, where's his mom? Because like I haven't seen his mom since like I went to high school in South Carolina. I know them. I talked to T Morant before. This was before Ja Morant was Ja Morant. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? I actually was hitting, and this is on record. I still got text messages. I was hitting Amir. I was hitting Coach Hunter. Like, yo, man, y'all need to check out this kid in South Carolina. You know, because I went to school. I graduated high school at Broome High School in South Carolina. We played Crescent. So when everybody, you know, I'm the basketball guy. I'm the extension of the basketball guy for South Carolina. And then you got other guys that's in like the lower state. But people would tell me, you know, yo, man, you heard this kid, Ja Morant? Then that's what made me connect with Ty at the gym. And I'm like, he like, yo, that's my cousin.
Right.
You know what? Or my nephew. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, let me know how we can help, you know, whatever. But his father is trying to live through him. And he's not checking off the father boxes to make sure he understands that he's different. You're in a different world now. We got to do things different if we want to keep this legacy and what we've worked this hard for, all them backyard games and workouts and all this traveling and that that kind of undiscovered prowess that you had. Now you that guy, right? We got. Well, I want this. If that's me, I want this shit to last forever.
Right.
So guess what? I'm gonna check my ego at the door. My son is one of the best players in the game, and I'm gonna chill the fuck out. We gonna party at the crib. We just bought this big ass house. We ain't going nowhere.
Pool parties
for 3 years, bro. We locked in. For 3 years, we
like
locked
hermits.
in. They go. I'm telling you. And I want to knock on wood, but Ant-Man is an example. Ant-Man go out, but you don't see him. He doing what he do. He enjoying his life as a young man, a celebrity. It's a way you do that. But then when you got, and I get it. I was telling another father, I was like, yo, I don't blame T. Morant for him not understanding either, because this is new to him too.
Yes.
But I've heard, I'm in the basketball community, people like, yo, let us help. Let us, mentor. Kendrick Perkins said it on the show that he's reached out.
Right.
Like, hey, this was before, was Gilbert Arenas.
Yes.
These guys are like, yo, man, this dude AI. I seen AI talking to him.
But you know what one of the biggest issues is? If you look at their team, I think the average age is like 23, 24 years old. So they don't have no vets in there to say, hey, yo,
and I blame Memphis a little bit too for allowing them, because again, the benefit of social media.
Right.
They let them boys do whatever. They rolling dice on the sideline when Yo Gotti was there. Like, you're not doing that in no Madison Square Garden, the Staples Center, or whatever they call it now. But you're not doing that in those places because it's a culture built. Yeah. Understanding these guys are building the culture. And like I said, salute to T. Morant for getting his son there.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? But now, bro, this is, you talking about 5, 6, $240 million for a contract, another 100 and something million for a sneaker deal. Yeah. Bro, that's you can own South Carolina for that. You get what I'm saying? So to me, there's gotta be some type of input in there now that's like, all right, dog, we get it. You a kid. You notice I ain't even blame him, right? But I'm like, his friends don't really have no control. Sure. They kids. They all doing the same thing, and they fake quote from the street. None of them dudes is from the street. And I mean, everybody have a hood or projects, whatever, but y'all not about that life.
No.
Y'all might have grew up in an underserved community, but you ain't about no street life. I don't even know why y'all portraying that, right? So for me, if I'm dad, I put myself in a situation, so hopefully one day my son will be taking that step in some sport.
Right.
That, listen, son, this ain't just about you.
Right.
You're giving them, first off, this ain't just about you. Yeah, it's you, but it ain't just about you. You got a family and a community and people that have been pouring into you and helping and supporting and driving you to practices that need you to stay focused on the task, so that way they can level up and you can really pull your community, your friends and their families out of poverty.
See, then you're touching on something, and that's the other reason.
And I don't think that they're even thinking about that. I think they're like in the moment and they're like, we got it. We got it all now. And just as well as you got it right now, it can be going just like that.
Absolutely. And I think it's two games, right? So you got the game, and then you got the game inside the game. That you got to be able to play both, right? And go back to LeBron.
Yeah.
See what he did? All his people, he put them on, put them in position, and he keep the right people around him. And all those guys are flourishing, but they complement what he's doing. Yeah. So even when he stopped,
they're not off brand.
No.
I always tell people that they're not off brand.
Yes.
You can meet the last person on the Clutch roster, and you like, oh yeah, they roll like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And again, I get it. The image of I feel like he wants to be the Allen Iverson of this generation. Yeah. But that's shy. He already got it down pat. He ain't got to do too much.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He's already the whole package. That's Allen Iverson all over again, a younger version. So find your identity. If I was able to talk to him, I say, look, young fella, you got it. You just got something different, right? You earned it. We respect it. But take into mind where you trying to go.
Absolutely.
Are you trying to be here for a lifetime with people talking about you and they still wearing Ja Morant shoes, little kids running around talking about they Ja Morant, whether it be South Carolina or throughout the world, that, hey, I'm Ja Morant when I go up to do this dunk or this layup or whatever? Or do you want people to be like, man, remember that kid?
Yeah.
Because I know I was there. Yeah. I've seen it. Lenny Cook was a prime example, and that too should be talking. Yeah. They should call Lenny Cook.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And say, yo, Lenny, talk to him a little bit, and give him the real world and let him know how somebody who was LeBron James before LeBron James and now is working a regular job. And there's no disrespect to working a regular job, but you're talking about from going to create generational wealth to working the hourly pay, right? And I talked to Lenny, I don't know if a lot of people know a story like that, but he was LeBron before LeBron, bro.
Right.
Dude had a Mercedes-Benz, an S550 at 16. You know what I'm saying? He was in Slam every month. They gave him his, if you remember, they started the high school corner because of him and Brandon Jennings, bro.
Right, I remember that.
To talk about their day-to-day life and what they dealing on the road. And, so it's like, man, you got people that's out there that could help you. You got to be willing to take the help.
Yes.
And listen, because you're entering a space you've never been. Nobody in your family, nobody you even know. Because y'all don't know Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett was the last one from South Carolina, but by way, he went to Chicago. You get what I'm saying? So at that level, I mean, you got tons of pros who are from South Carolina, Shamon Williams, Ray Allen, you name it. But at the end of the day, nobody that can speak to you at that level.
Wow. Man, let me tell you something, man. This is so informative. I know these folks, man, they buzzing. They like, man, we get some nuggets out of this thing. You dropping it, man. So I appreciate it. So, Jah, man, tell the audience, man, tell our folks, man, like what you got going on, and tell them about the AEBL. Just tell them, the things that you're doing in the community real quick. Briefly,
so we getting ready to celebrate our 11th year for AEBL. We kick off July 1st through August 20th. It's every Saturday and Sunday at Kip Atlanta Collegiate over in the West Side. Both our men's and women's Pro-Am leagues go on. We also have our junior AEBL programs that are going throughout the summer. We're doing a lot of off-the-court stuff this year with the kids, taking them to college visits, making sure that they're experiencing other aspects and extracurricular activities. Our marketing agency, Finish First, is doing extraordinary right now, man. We just hit the plateau of about 20 plus clients that we have.
That's awesome.
That are working. We're doing some amazing work in the community with Athlete's Foot. Man, I'm just continuing to, stay motivated and inspired.
And you're doing it, man.
Trying to create,
you're doing it, baby.
Trying to create some real generational wealth for my family and my community, man.
You're doing it, man.
And setting the bar, man. To be honest with you, man, like we could do it too, man. And I'm gonna leave on this is that my, people ask me all the time, like, what's next? And in my big think tank is, I want to be, and I don't want to say want to be, I'm going to be listed or labeled as like the next Black Arthur Blank of Atlanta, bro.
Got it.
I want ownership. I want to just be a player.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I want to own. I want to be a minority owner of the Hawks. I want to put in a vet to be a part of ownership for the Atlanta Dream.
Yes.
That's where I'm at. I've done it. I don't think nobody in the country can run, organize, and do business the way that I do in this game.
Right.
I plan to take this globally at some point. Hopefully we over there in NBA Africa, doing some big things, man. But we definitely, I actually, awesome. I mean, he can edit this out, but I definitely want to talk to you about that, man, because I got a couple of guys who are moving over into that space for NBA Africa.
Sure.
That are really like, yo, man, we need you. If that, I don't know what that looks like right now, buying the team over there or helping them develop what grassroots looks like there, because that is the next vessel. Just like how we talked about the European players, Africa is the next gold mine for basketball globally.
No question.
No
question. Well, man, look, bro, I appreciate you coming through, man.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Big conversation, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, man, till next time, man. Hey, y'all better check this one out. This is big. A lot of information. We see y'all next time. Peace.